Hey everybody, it's Wednesday. We're live on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Jim Cramer to break down today's market action. Jim, we'll start with earnings from Lowe's. Comps up, but not as good as Home Depot.
Yeah, look, I think that a lot of people might read through and say, hey, you know what, maybe there's a slowing in the capital improvements of your home. I think that this has just become a case where Home Depot is just out executing right now. These two have often been in a dogfight. Home Depot had substantially better comparable same-store sales. I will point out that there are some changes that have to be watched here. PPG bounced by a Sherwin-Williams deal. Those who want, this is at Lowe's, those who want to sell Stanley Black & Decker, or you want to sell Masco, Fortune Brands, be careful, because after these come down, I know my trust will be looking to buy them. But yes, I mean, sometimes with retail, you under-execute, and that's what happened with Lowe's. Over-executing was TJX. Now, I always like to talk about our losers. We made money on TJX. We traded around it for action alerts. But the big enchilada came today as they did sharply better than expected. Congratulations. I didn't think they had the inventory to do it. So some good retail and bad retail, and it's been like that. Remember, we own Nordstrom. I predict good numbers from Kohl's, and I really liked that Macy's quarter yesterday.
Yeah, and when it comes to TJX, I think they missed earnings expectations, but comps were good.
Multiple times they missed.
Good reminder to not trade on the headline numbers.
Well, I mean, the problem with TJX had been under execution. By the way, let's just go back over Lowe's. Lowe's did 4. There are activists in there, D.E. Shaw, 2 on the board. I don't want, if I owned Lowe's, I wouldn't sell it down here.
And in real money, you call Lowe's potentially the Papa John's of home improvement.
Look, you get these back and forth moments. Papa John's with a very, I would say, let's say reflective view of themselves and how poorly they've done. Now, why isn't the stock down a lot? Some people think it's because restaurant brands might be looking to buy them. Some people might say, you know what? They're honest. They admit they have problems. That's how a bottom is formed. Lowe's, I think I've got to do more work because the conference call's been going on while we're doing this. But, you know, at any given time, one of those two is ahead. And I've actually made a little more money betting on the one that comes down than betting on the one that's up. Although I think Home Depot is one of the greatest retailers on earth.
And you go there personally.
I go to both, but I go to Home Depot more than I go to Lowe's. There's a Lowe's near me in Brooklyn, and it's not bad, not great, but I buy all my plants at Home Depot. The Frank Blake, the former CEO, who's just a terrific guy, and Craig Muir now know that I am one of their biggest shoppers because I am a big gardener, and I do some of my gardening by using some, what I say, vintage vines. I do some by seed. I do vintage vines by Union Square in New York. But my major flats, my tomatoes, have been Home Depot, and many of my peppers are Home Depot, and a lot of my cucumbers are Home Depot. But they do use a company that a lot of other companies use. But I happen to like the presentation at Home Depot, and I happen to like the people. My Home Depot is exceptional.
Gardening season will be here before you know it.
Yeah, we're going to try to plant in the 4th week of April.
Wow.
A little earlier than usual because our tomatoes came out too late, and we lost about a quarter of our crop. By the way, in Tuscany, my wife has this set up for a garden that is just killer. A lot of the Italians marvel because we use beds. I like raised beds for animals. The tomatoes I grow are plum tomatoes in Italy, and as much as I love my American produce, Italy puts it to shame.
Oh, well, we can't wait for those pictures soon.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, shifting.
We have an olive grove there, and the state that Tuscany makes you maintain it. You don't make a lot of money in olive oil. I wish we had vines. Wish we had grapes. We have olive oil.
You got to bring some over here.
Oh, I will. We've got some bottles. It's a little salty. I happen to like it very much, but we're going to go into what I guess some people regard as mass production in 2 years.
All right, sign me up.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Jim, shifting gears but staying with retail, Dick's will no longer sell assault rifle weapons.
This is Ed Stack, whom I've known since they came public. It's a conscience issue for him, and I think these are conscience issues. I don't preach on this show. I had been a gun owner, been a hunter. This Dick's is a hunting store. I would not hunt with an AR-15 because you want to, if you do hunt, and my mom was a great hunter. She would hunt pheasant. She was the one who taught me this. You don't want to blow up the pheasant. It's bad enough to have to spit up the buckshot. But when my mom would hunt, she would be aghast at the idea that you would hunt with a machine gun. I mean, the idea is to have as little penetration as possible. So, I don't know. I mean, I grew up in Pennsylvania where the first day of November was the school closed for hunting for whitetail, and I don't know. I mean, I've always regarded Dick's and Cabela's, which my family uses, as hunting rifles. So I'm not. I have to be careful because I want to preserve the right for people who want to hunt. But I thought this was the right thing to do. I don't understand the AR-15 other than for mass protection. But anyway, I'm not. Look, I'm not preaching on this. I am. Because I think someone could say, Duplessis, you have a lot of guns. I don't no longer do, but there is. Dick's just decided they couldn't live with themselves anymore, and I applaud anyone with a conscience who says that.
Well, obviously, Dick's sells athletic apparel, and you have Kevin Plank on tonight.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that Under Armour is too dependent upon Dick's. Look, if Dick's was bringing in a lot of people with guns, it'll be interesting. Do they get hurt by that? I don't think so. But Under Armour's about Kevin Plank and resilience. Kevin Plank and being focused. I've admired him from when the company came public. It used to be one of my strongest recommendations for multiple years. Then I did think that they lost focus. And by the way, Nike came back. First Adidas came back, but then Nike came back with a vengeance with a very good personalization campaign. Let's hear what Kevin says. He did have a very good quarter. The inventories are lean, but he caught almost no upgrades, and yet the stock is one of the best performers. I can't wait to speak to Kevin. Look, the show's not about friends, it's about money. But I admire Kevin. My wife admires Kevin. And I think that Lisa and I talk about him as someone who has made it so that Baltimore is a more important city. But we're talking business tonight.
You're also talking to Mark Benioff. What a lineup.
Yeah, work hard on this stuff. Salesforce, I think, is the channel checks from all the different research say things are good. I think that he's taking share. I think there's a lot of big deals in the pipe. I think this is still going to the cloud, the service cloud, the marketing cloud, very strong. He's made a series of acquisitions that are very, very good. Demandware, I happen to tell you that I think that when you see the retailers starting to be able to do better than we thought, some of this, let's take Home Depot. Home Depot is a huge client of Salesforce. Salesforce is artificial intelligence and machine learning about what the customer wants. It is a company that is also committed fabulously to charity. This 111 has worked since they came public. Of course, they didn't have any money to give away initially, but they did. But Mark is at the forefront of a variety of issues, including whether social media is responsible or not. He's about culture. He's about truth. But he's about the numbers, and he's delivered great numbers. I recommend the stock since 2008 when he came on, and I challenged his numbers very aggressively in a very tough series of interviews, and I have been a believer since 2008. It's been one of my best performers.
All right, that's tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern on Mad Money.
And I am still a believer. No doubt about that. I just think that he runs a remarkable company, and his goal is to be the speed with which he has grown revenues, and he's got a $20 billion goal, is extraordinary. And a lot of analysts have at times deserted him, and I think that I should have adopted more of an own, don't trade strategy in preaching about, and it is preaching to some degree because I do believe that Mark's created a category. He's doing very well. SAP will disagree with that. Oracle will disagree with that, but I think it's going to be a good interview.
All right, we're looking forward to that tonight. And meanwhile, Jim, we had Square earnings. Lately, they've been associated with Bitcoin.
Well, look, I've become friendly with Sarah Fryer, who was late of Goldman Sachs, and she is a fabulous CFO. She's been on Mad Money, and she talked about a Venmo competitor. By the way, PayPal's up there, some good news. Venmo competitor that's doing well. This is Cash, their business. She has my Bar San Miguel, one of the reasons why things happen is Bar San Miguel uses Caviar, which is a takeout service. And my father, his last order before he passed away in 2014 was to design a bag for us. And the bag is, we got 50 cases from APAC, who we represented the Chinese in the end. and that's for takeout. And we didn't really want to do takeout, but Pop encouraged us to have these bags. And caviar's been a major prop for us for takeout. So we often joke about do I take advantage of some of the other things that Square does, which is they have a cash advance because they know your receipts, because they know your register. Fortunately, we have good cash flow and don't have to use it, but a lot of these smaller business people just love the product. It's a good product. And then on the conference call, in a very curious moment, Jack Dorsey jumps in, he's the CEO, and says, listen, we are going to be the way that cryptocurrencies, we're learning them fast. We're going to be the cryptocurrency forerunner. That's got the stock going. A lot of people felt that they didn't guide very high. It didn't matter because I think Jack put those comments in. I wish that we would come back to earth and just say, you know what, it should be up because it should be up, because business is quite good. Jack stood right over here when it came public, and I was a skeptic, and he told me that they are Switzerland to everybody. It is proving true. I am a satisfied customer. Now, I have to, the takeout business, because of the stay-at-home millennials, I've had to add seamless because there's just too much business. And it's really very lost leader for me to some degree, because remember, I'm a bar. I want people to drink, and instead we're taking out, but we've been able to make it so we have some dishes that we can profit from. But I joke with Sarah about the importance of caviar for our business. Scott, I wanted to ask you, you've got a blockchain.
Yes.
Could you give me a little more on that? Because when we hear about Bitcoin, we hear about cryptocurrency, we hear about blockchain. What do you got going?
Well, I'm hosting a 1-hour live roundtable today, webinar.thestreet.com. It's from 1 to 2 p.m. today.
Webinar.thestreet.com. Okay.
Yes, so you can sign up for free. And James Altucher is going to be on.
James just did a very long interview with me. James was one of the original people we brought on at TheStreet. Proud to call him a friend, proud to call him an ally, proud to call him someone who is near and dear to both me and to Lisa, my wife.
Yes, I listened to that podcast yesterday. Great insight into your story as well, which I love.
He's a great guy, and look, I get caught up with him because in some of the battles I've had in life, he has been my corner man, and unfortunately I've needed corner men. He's admirable, he's smart, he's different, and he needs to be listened to. And I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Yes, he's such an expert on crypto.
He's fabulous.
We're going to be talking to him.
We're going to be doing a lot of cryptocurrency work. You know, we did a deal with Investopedia at TheStreet, and I'm also putting together some people. We're going to own this space, okay? TheStreet's going to own this space, and we're going to do it because because we're honest, and we are no fear, no favor, and we will own cryptocurrency. We are going to be the place that you need to go to, and it's going to start with your webinar.
Well said, Jim. Thank you very much. Jim and I are going to continue the conversation. Many more stocks to talk about.
Yes.
Join us on actionalertsplus.com.